What's up, TikTok? How y'all doing? Uh, Basically, am working on Starlight. Name of the artist is iamEcho, and the feature artist is Brick Love. Uh, he should be coming out with an album soon. I definitely try to post it on my link, trying to figure out how to add this link to my other profile. For some reason, TikTok is tripping. It's not letting me add like my link to my engineers platform and the like links to other music. So I'm trying to figure out. I've been talking to them and trying to see if they can get me to try to find a way to add this on there because you want people to be able to find contact or get in touch with you. So today, I'm rocking my. This is actually when I went to Africa. My bro Shaul basically took me to the people that I was from. So my forefathers are from Angola. So they are Kalunda. So this is a Kalunda shirt with the lion on it. You know, don't act like you don't know what the lion represent, right? So this is Kalunda form with the fringes on it, and just rocking it today. Feel comfortable. This is 100% cotton. Well, this is actually linen. I'll say this is linen. So this is the shirt that they rock and wear. So I love it. It feels good. The energy is good because we don't know that actually mixed fabrics or fabrics that's not authentic actually mess with your energy. This is not something that people think that's a fabrication, but it actually is true. If you look in the scriptures, you'll see that the Most High said, "Do not mix your fabric." It's a reason why He tell them not to intermingle their fabric. Cotton's not supposed to be interwove with linen and vice versa. So, or wool. So you're not supposed to intermingle those things because He tells you to keep it separate. So that's just a little something just for, I like it because it feels good. You feel relaxed. You feel focused. You're not, your mind like split. Sometimes we don't pay attention to that. The fact that actually plays into the way that your spirit reacts, because if you're wearing mixed fabric or things that is not kosher, it could play definitely a lot. What's up, Proof? Yeah, bro. You see, I'm rocking the Kalunda wear. You know what I'm saying, with the with the fringes on and the lion on it. So, like I said, I got this from when I was in Africa. My bro took me to the Lunda, my Lunda people that was in Lusaka, Zambia. And I was talking to the people there, talking to the elders there. And dude gave me this shirt for free. And I bought some more shirts for my pop and myself. And yeah, and I'm just rocking it today. So today, I'm actually working on Starlight. Just finished mixing it. I'm printing it now. After I print it, let you hear it, I'll go through a little walkthrough of what I do with the mix, because I was making sure the bass is translating, because the bass carries the whole song. So let's see. Let's flick over to my other screen. All right, so let's go ahead and I wonder if you can pull this back. So probably not. But let's see. Let's go ahead and hit this print button. I go ahead and I guess I can walk through at least my mix bus for right now. So the first thing I got on here is console 1, SSL 9000. And even though you don't know this, Proof, if you want a little more space and depth in your drums and everything else, please grab the SSL Sawtooth Console 1 mixing system. It actually works in FL, right? You can actually mix and control in FL. It controls everything. You got the actual 9000 emulation straight across your bus, for your drums and everything else. You think it won't make a difference? It will. That's how dope it is. Oh, Rafael Sanchez, what's up, bro? This is he's a 20. I think it's 24/7 hip hop. I think that's what Rafael is a part of. And this is basically then after this, I got the BX mix basically to shape it. I usually do EQ notches, but ever since Baby Audio came with Smooth Operator Pro, I haven't been really doing any notches because that actually handles a lot of resonance that's peeking up through the mixes. So this is basically just to do an EQ shape. Let me go back and make sure that that is not affecting anything else because I actually just flipped over to A. So what is this thing trying to do? Okay, and then next, let's go to, let's see, is Elios EQ. This is the mastering. I like the correlation. Where's the correction? It basically kind of like does a little fixing through the audio as it's playing. So that's what I'm doing with this one. Next is going into the BX refinement. They got a new one. I have to try it out. I definitely do have to try it out, V2. This is something I always use. It helps clean up the mixes, help clean up the vocals, and it does what it does. I don't know what is all involved with it. I know I had it for a long time and figured out how to actually use this plugin, which is a dope plugin. Next is going into the Saturn. I got it, the low end set on tape, and then I got the top end set on a warm tube. The difference between tubes and saturation is brighter, tube is more darker. So if I wanted to be brighter, I would go to saturation and just hit gentle. So I'm gonna go ahead and play so you can hear the difference between them. It's a slight difference, just a slight. But let's go to the next one. Next one is God Particle on all of my mix buses. Can't say enough about it. It's like having multiple hardware in one plugin. This is Jason Joshua or Cradle Audio plugin. Is a dope plugin. Can't say, like I said, most of the plugins I use and plugins companies, they are doing a thing. This is the BX Glue. It's kind of like the emulation of the SSL bus compressor. And they said that it is a combination of that and the Townhouse. Townhouse is kind of like, it's kind of like a bus compressor somebody made. And it sounds somewhat a little bit different than SSL G-bus compressor. But it had its own particular sound. And they basically spruced this sucker up. It's got a tilt on here. That's what I'm using because it made the bass part come out a little bit more. So I kept it. I'm going to go through this in details and show you the plug-in. This is the Smooth Operator Pro. It has a number of things. It has focus, imaging, side chaining, compressor. And you can go to these different modules and adjust different things. I can say Baby Audio really did their job on this plugin. I have Smooth Operator 1, and I love this one over Smooth Operator before the first one. Next is the True Peak limiter, and that's what's basically on my mix bus. Let's see. Let's go to the beginning, and I'm gonna go ahead and press the record button. So, let me take this off. All the flashing lights, all the starlights, all the moonlight
outside the sunlight. Starlight. You can pay for school, but you can't buy a class. Whatever class, and you still be in the ass. Thinking living life been on the last of the drag. We learn to switch gears when we driving fast. Fancy trips is not a blast to me. If they control how long you last, you see. You roll the dice just to get a slice. Invest in all the right property and you're still a mice. Get smashed, better elephant in the room. Get swept up like wisdom trash like a broom. No longer commodity, fantastic doom. Your mentality doesn't scratch your plastic tunes. Whether I or me or maybe she, be whatever y'all commands us to be. Can't be the light that illuminate the night, that is switch to beat mode when it's bright night. Light, right. I see you tonight. Light, tonight. Light, right. Tonight. Light. Singing Star Spangled Banner didn't give you freedom, didn't give you the power just to beat them. False idols, do you really see them? When you try to do everything just to please them, at the end of the day, you sprayed it on my grave. No tailor-made suit for the body that is laid. You tag in your image just to live in a village. Change your mode, you sell out your kindred for the privilege. To be in the room with pirates and thieves, getting that stats and blips if you don't have the means. To be grimy as the Grim Reaper, tell your wicked ways up, a pleasure is a keeper. Loves a chance, you better teach us. If you don't pick up the phone, just to reach us. At the end of the day, of the jack of a trade, of a lesson being played out in the belly of the beast, like prey in the mouth, like Jonah in the whale on the shop. Like, right.
Back the world, take back your soul. This body is just a core, these clothes is just for show. These hoes is used to lure. All of it is distraction, taking you from the core. Program no one and more, don't even know what it's for. Talk to want the world, but growing to be unsure. So constantly insecure, but pride keep you secure. Stuck looking for gold, but water is way more pure. Stay positive, but ain't taught you what positive is. Give you a news that keep you stuck in the thought of your fear. Think you gon' lose if you ain't living how growing them live. What you gon' do if you ain't doing what ganging them did? Must be in chains again, cause I see this part of a plan. Keeping people under edges, building on top of this land. How the fuck you wonder we was three from just part of a man? Suddenly it's justice, so we eating one side of the hand. Fuck it, I just wanna thank Jehovah, keep me on my feet. Marching till the battle, so I'm fighting for the weak. I'm a hardcore believer that there's blessings for the meek. Get the meals just to prove it, I'ma show y'all what I see. Like what's up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look,
Hey.
Yeah, they made flashing lights.
They made flashing lights.
Starlight's all I
The
see.
starlight's all I see.
I stay up at night.
I stay up at night.
Starlight's all I
The
need.
starlight's all I
They
need.
made flashing lights.
They made flashing lights.
Starlight's all I
The
see.
starlight's what I see.
I stay up at
I
night.
stay up at night.
Starlight's all I
The
need.
starlight's what I need.
Yeah. So this track, I basically produced the track. I finally finished mixing it and to make some adjustments. If you are trying to get into mixing and your room is not truly treated, I wouldn't say this room is like 100% treated. I would say it was more like probably like 85. So, like, if your room is not totally treated, IK Multimedia, Art Studio 2 will help you get there to where you can actually hear your room. It'll basically make some corrections and let you know where the nodes are lacking in your room. If it's not strong enough and it's not flat, it would just basically, it's almost like a small turn-off box that sits under there. That's what I'm getting. And it's going to help me be able to handle these and get to these mixes a lot quicker, because your room speakers are one thing, but your room is like king. If your room is not treated, your mixes would not translate well. And normally we as engineers always try to use different facets to be able to handle those things to where we can solve these problems of things that may come in the mixes, not hearing the low end, like this bass rolling through here. Let me go ahead and click off of this back into my mastering to go to my master. So you hear that bass. So I got basically, it's two basses, right? One is basically saturating the top. The other one is the bottom. Reason why engineers do this is because you want to be able to make sure that a person can be able to hear the bass on their earbuds. You're going to hear it on your headphones, but something about earbuds is not a full spectrum as you would have headphones. So you would separate the bass, cut out all the lows for just to have the top, saturate the top, EQ the top, do whatever you have to do, tone shape it. The bass, you would cut off the top and then run those straight into a bus. And then you would do the processing like this. So I put this on here because this is kind of like a stabilizer. What it does is kind of like, it's an automated kind of like EQ when it comes to like sound. So if I was to play this, you see this is moving straight across, right? Let me make it a little bit. You see how it's rolling with the bass? So it's making sure all those notes are basically translating in this track. And sometimes you need something like this to be able to make sure those notes are being heard and translated well. So this is, I left it at 100 because I want to, even though it's just more in this midsection, but you know, I could cut this off. It ain't gonna do anything. That sucker's still gonna, it's probably just gonna make it more focused. To tell you the truth, if I leave that up, and when I drop the mid and drop the low and drop the high, it's just gonna make it more focused to that midsection to where the notes are plucking. And then next after that is going to a limiter. And then this is the Swap Digital Orange Clipper. It has basically, it's kind of like a FL on steroids, the limiter. And I thought I upgraded to the actual, they have a new one. Let's see if this, maybe they gave me both. Let's see, Swap Digital. See if I can find it. Yeah, I need to upgrade to the actual. They have another one that actually has a module that comes down to where you can actually affect the low, mid, and high of the limiter. So whatever you put it on, you can affect it. You can boost it. You can, which they call expand. You can expand it, those sounds, and it's really tricked out limiter. One of the best limiters I ever came across. And having this together, basically, if I was to bypass this, let's bypass. I think I got this on here too as well. Let me see. Yeah, I got that too. So let's bypass all this. This is how I sound before. And this is just basically cutting out the top. So I can engage this. And then watch me bring in that low. This the voice of God, basically a low bass processing hardware. This is the emulation of a hardware from UAD. And you can see it come straight in as soon as you I feel like it was lacking a little low end. So I boost that, left this on here. This is basically Slate Digital rack, and playing with everything else with the drums. Let's go to, I think 3 just when the drums come in. Ah, shit. This is basically how it sounds with the drums. And then once you start bringing in instruments, everything together, music wise, is like this. Let me. Yeah, so with the drums, I didn't really do a lot of. Only thing, your most favorite thing to do when you are mixing and you're gonna use a lot is EQ. EQ is your number one best friend when it comes to mixing, because it comes to the point if you see all these EQ curves, the kick and the snare. Let me see, this the kick. I'm more using this. Let's go back to that's 4. So I'm boosting. So I'm not really doing anything. I'm making that snare come out a little bit more. So if you don't see it on here, it's because I'm using this SSL Sawtooth 9000 emulation, which was bringing out the snare, because I felt like the snare was a little bit too tucked, and I wanted to have a little pop, have a little fullness, so I boost this a little bit just to give it a little bit of lift. When you dealing with sounds, you only EQ, you only compress things that you need to bring up or you need to tighten up. Everything don't need compression. That's something you learn after you mix after a while, because a newbie would think, oh, I need to compress, oh, I need to compress. No, you need to listen. Because then once you listen and you will see what the things need to address when you're mixing, then you'll understand, do this, you'll ask yourself, do this need compression? If it don't need compression, don't compress it. If it needs to be, like cymbals and stuff, cymbals only need EQing. There, you don't really need to compress EQ cymbals. Just EQ it. Just like when you're dealing with trumpets and you're recording the trumpet. You don't need to compress a trumpet. A trump is a wind instrument. It doesn't need compression. It just needs a leveling as it going in and EQ. And if you need to put on reverb to give it a little more space, then you just do that. Certain things do not need compression. Only thing that needs compression, you gotta think of something. If something is too much, like either loud or being too sharp, then you will consider compression. So you wouldn't normally compress everything. You only compress things that need to be handled dynamically or just kind of smoothed out. Like vocals can be a little bit too sharp. It cannot be like leveled out. So you would use compression on vocals, compression on bass if the notes are not the lower small or sulfur parts of bass is not being heard. Then you will compress or use multi-band compression or any form of compression. Then that's when you would use compression. Think of it like that when you actually mixing. It'll help you make better decisions when you are definitely mixing. Most of the stuff I'm using is either EQ, saturation. I'm using compression on some of the instruments to keep the instruments locked in and listen to the release of the instruments or the space between each note. That's how you find out where you need to have your attack and release. If you use attack if you feel like the instrument is a little bit too sharp or you want to like change some of the dynamics of it, then you would have a shorter attack and then a little bit mid to long release just to hold it in there, but not to bury it. The thing I like about this SSL, it has an automatic gain on it. So whatever I compress is already compensating for what I'm compressing and bringing it back up to normal level. So that's why you mostly see like on, let's see, see this the bass. This is, I think this is the keys if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, this is the chords right here, which comes in, let's move this out the way. It plays on the hook. Chill, that's what's being compressed on this one, is because it has this this feeling of kind of like rising and lowering. So I want it to sound more even. So I will compress that because it has a volume rise and then a decay. I want the decay being heard, so I will compress that. I will have a, let's see what I actually did on this SSL skin. So I have a, let's make this a little bit bigger. So I have a 2:0 ratio with a 30%, 32% wet. I don't like fully compressing things like 100% wet and dry. Compress it enough to where you feel like it, because sometimes mix knobs can be a little bit heavy. So I would kind of blend it to taste. So I have a slow attack on this, but I have a 0.70 release. So that release is going to catch the note sustain of that. So you see this is moving when that sustain of that pad comes in. It's bringing it up some, so it doesn't fade off too quick. And I'm using it. It has a drive on here. You can change whatever drive you want. That's how dope this thing is. I can basically change the console type, or I can change the driver type. If I want to add a British style, if I want to add a dirt tape on there, if I want to add another skin like 4G or any of their modules that they will have in here, any of the plugins, I can change that type. So that's one thing I say about this Sawtooth console is very helpful when it comes to having things at your arm reach where you can just reach for and manipulate. Uh, and then the vocals, let's see, I go through the instruments. This is the synth, which plays with that. It's kind of like a arpeggiator. So it has this kind of like, it's kind of like, it has this, I feel like it just added to the vibe of the track to lift up the track. Most of these instruments has a atmospheric kind of pad sound, texture, because it's Starlight. So when you think about Starlight, it's mesmerizing. It's, you're looking at all the colors of the universe all in one landscape. If you was out in the stars and you was looking at like you want to look at the galaxy or whatever, you would see all these different colors. So when I produced the track, I was looking for those specific things that could emphasize what I was staring at and look at all these different colors. So when you listen to like the verse that they're going into the bridge, you see how it kind of lifts up into. Yeah, so this track was actually done not in MPC, but it was actually done using native instruments. I'm not gonna lie and say what expansion pack, but it was done on one of the expansion packs, and the instruments, a lot of it is Massive X, um, some of their other. I will pull out eventually. I'll pull up the session and allow you to see the production that was behind it. I kind of changed up some stuff as far as the drum wise to make it, because everything was like loop wise, and you want drums to move, have a little movement. So I did some things on the kick to change up the pattern of the kick to not let it sound so repetitive. And the switch up is something I was playing around with. It's like, I would say, like if you look at like more than one thing and then some just shoot past you and it just changes your whole mood, but then you like, wow, what the heck was that? But you kind of like mesmerized. So that's where the switch came in with this part. So it came up just like if I was looking at the space and I was seeing a kind of a rocket shoot by and be like, or a star shoot by, it just kind of accentuates the mood to make it, or just like when you're looking at TV and you know how they have the camera slow down and you like, and things like move slower because you're like really taken or smitten by what you're seeing. that's what that scene represents. It's kind of taking you through a transition before the hook comes back in. Uh, and that's what I was looking at when I was actually producing this track called Starlight. Uh, it'd be nice if the sucker was actually on Garden of the Galaxies or something like that, because it would definitely fit the vibe of this of that movie. So the vocals was like, let me see. So this vocals, let's go back to 3. Let's see. Oh, this one. Sorry about that.
You can pay for school, but you can't buy class. What if class is still being the ass? Think you're living life with all the lines of the drag. We learn to switch gears when we driving fast. Fancy trips is not a blast to me. If they control how long your last, you see. You roll the dice just to get a slice. Invest in all the right property and you're still a mice.
So first thing I'm hitting it with is de-esser, just to tame some of it between like 2K. I felt like that's what I was getting the hits from. And then it goes straight into auto-tune. At like 17, didn't want it to sound robotically, just enough to move. Because thinking about outer space, your vocals may sound like, spacey, vibey, not really clear. So wanted to add that. Next is going into the SSL. I think this is the E version. Just to filter out the look of the low end, and then used a little bit of compression just to kind of.
You can pay for school, but you can't buy class. What if class is still being the ass?
Right. So then next is going into the SSL V comp.
You can pay for school, but you can't buy class. What if class is still being the ass? Think you're living life with all the lines of the drag. We learn to switch gears when we driving fast.
And then everything is basically the same going across it, just made some little adjustments. So it's a punch in that I just basically copied the same setting on. Her vocals, as far as like the hook, let's see, that's 4.
Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I made, hell, I wish tonight.
So her vocals, same thing, auto-tune, went with a de-esser afterwards. And then it's just basically going into her vocal chain that's right here. Next is the multi-band compression. Next is the fresh air, just to make her vocal sound airy. Dumped out of some things that I heard in the 600 hertz, and then the 1.5.
Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I made, hell, I wish tonight.
So next is the pole tech, just to cut out some. I actually boost her vocals. I felt it was a little bit thin, so I brought back some her body of her vocals. Next is the RVox. Then kind of compressed it. And I'll play everything without it and then bring it back in. Hit it with another de-esser. Felt like some sibilance was coming up. And then with the, I think it's called the spectral. So this is basically doing the same thing that I was doing on the bass.
Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I made, hell, I wish tonight.
So then hit it with the soothe to smooth out the vocals. So this is everything without it. And let me go to that.
Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I made, hell, I wish tonight.
And then let's go ahead and bring in the other one so they can play together. So
Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I wish I may. Hella wish tonight. Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I wish I may. Hella wish tonight.
and even if the noise is like that, how are you going to be able to hear it on in them song? No, you're not going to be able to hear it. But for engineer's sake, I would definitely go to RX and where is that one? Is that the noise assistant? Let's go to denoise. Nah, that's not the one. Where is the sucker at? Matter of fact, I gotta make sure I put it up at the top. Usually I keep my stuff at the top so I don't have to go and do this search for it. It might be there it is, dialogue isolate. And I would basically just remove the void, remove the noise, bring the noise down.
Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I may. Hella wish tonight.
Yeah, do you hear any noise? No. That's how Isotope makes some dope plugins, and I would just hit the render. Now you won't even hear that in the background, and since our vocals is the same everywhere, basically these are just recorded dubs, and I know that sound is there, so I would just go through these and just do this, and take away the background noise. I'm gonna do it in sections because that's probably best. Most likely, I'll probably end up printing this thing again. Most likely. And a lot of people don't realize that. You probably don't realize, even if you are male, female, and you are artist, you don't realize how much you actually smack your lips when you actually when you actually sing. You'll be surprised. It's this plugin that lets you know how many times you smack your lips during your recording. And you would think that stuff doesn't really mess with the articulation, and it actually, in a way, when you actually do the cleaning, you will see how it actually would sound when you do this. So I'm gonna make sure this plugin is at my top. On Pro Tools, you just hold I believe it's the command, and it should show at the top. Yep, dialogue isolate. There it is right there. And you click on the plugin, and you hold the command and click the plugin. It'll show at the top. You can do this for your audio suite or stereo file, MIDI file. You can, whatever, it can be plugin or instrument, VST. And it'll show right up at the top. That way you don't need to go and what they say, dumpster dive for the plugin. And then mount declick. Let's put that up there too. Next. So I was talking about smacking. So I'm gonna let this play in here, and you're gonna see how many times.
Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I may. Hella wish tonight.
So 12. She clicked her mouth 12 times, smacked. That's how many times. And imagine, this is just a small part. So imagine you doing a whole verse. How many times a person probably smacked their lips? Probably between 30, 40 times. And so hit that. Same thing with this, because you're repeating the same thing. So playing her vocals again.
Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I wish I wish tonight. Starlight, star bright, the first star I see tonight. I wish I wish I wish tonight.
Now you can't tell me that doesn't sound a lot better than what I played before when the noise was there. It probably was messing with a little bit of articulation because you had noise in the background. She probably most likely singers. Sometimes some people sing with both headphones on. Some people sing with one headphones on. So when she took the headphone off, it was actually bleeding into the microphone. So to sell to that, you got to do stuff like this. So let's see if it actually proved the sound.
Mo when it's bright night. Singing Star Spangled Banner didn't give you freedom.
Right, so sounds a lot cleaner, sounds a lot better. The same thing I would actually go, now that I think about it, probably would probably do it to the rap vocals, and then I will make sure that I'll print another copy. So this be the same thing, mouth declick. Basically just
Starlight, you could pay for school, but you can't buy class. What if class is still being the ass? Think you're living life in on the lines of the drag. We learn to switch gears when we driving fast. Fancy trips is not a blast to me. If they control how long you last, you see. You roll the dice just to get a slice. Invest in all the right property and you're still a mice.
and that was 135 times. And this is just a small, this is not even a full verse. This is the half of the verse. 135 times. Sound like a mouse chewing behind a wall. So we don't realize how many times we actually smack our mouths when we actually speak. So
get smashed by the elephant in the room. Get swept up like wisdom trash like a broom. No longer commodity. Fantastic doom. Your vitality does scratch your plastic tunes. Whether I or me or maybe she be whatever Yah commands us to be. Can't be the light that illuminate the night that'll switch the beat mode when it's fright night. Get smashed.
all right, so that was like 70 sometimes, so that wasn't that bad. So let's go to this way.
Singing Star Spangled Banner didn't give you freedom, didn't give you the power just to beat them. False idols, do you really see them? When you try to do everything just to please them, at the end of the day, you sprayed it on my grave. No tailor-made suit for the body that is laid. You tag in your image just to live in a village. Change your mode, you sell out your kindred for the privilege. Singing Star Spangled.
So that was like 80, probably 84.
To be in the room with pirates and thieves, being that stats and blips if you don't have the means. To be grimy as the Grim Reaper, tell your wicked ways of a pleasure is a keeper. Loves a chance, you better teach her. If you don't pick up the phone, just to reach her. At the end of the day, of the jack of a trade of a lesson being played out in the belly of the beast, like prey in the mouth, like Jonah in the whale on the shout. To be in the room with.
So that was like 67. So that wasn't bad. So that wasn't bad at all. But most people don't think like cleaning up or doing like, if you hear anything like that would make the articulation better. Yes, it will. Sometimes when I was starting to mix, I was like, and I started to see how much detail it comes to getting a polished sound. You know, the procrastination part about it, you'd be like, man, I don't want to do all that stuff just to get it. But as you start to really like mix and stuff and you want your sound, that's the intent that you want it to sound like, but you don't really understand like the work that it takes to actually get there, to get to that finish line, to where everything to sound good. To me, it'll help you appreciate your engineer, help your engineer appreciate you in your professionalism, because it does take a lot to mix a song. It is not something that can be done like in 15 minutes. I had artists ask me, I got like 15 minutes left. You think you can go ahead and mix that? Like, it doesn't take 15 minutes to mix a song. By me going and cleaning up vocals and stuff like that, that's about 15 minutes right there. So it doesn't really take, it's not something you can just add a whole bunch of presets on and think you're going to be fine. Because those presets were recorded and saved based off the artist they use it on. So that's not going to actually work for you without fine tuning that preset. Presets are starting points, like running a race and you already have your gym clothes on. That's the preset. Don't mean that that's going to be for every little thing that you do, for everything. You can't. Presets is starting points. That's what they're good for, to give you a point to say, oh, let me try this preset, and then you would tailor it. And it still takes time to listen to it and go through and tweak whatever presets or knobs that's on there to get it to sound good on your end. There's no quick fix, no Minute Maid kind of style mixing that'll work. To be good at mixing, you got to sit down and many times I sat down there with a kick, like different patterns and kick, and just sit there and just play with the threshold to figure what was the best sound for a kick. If I wanted the kick to be long, what would I set it at? If I wanted to have a sharp attack, what would I set the attack at? I sat back there and played with the threshold, the release, just to figure out what the best way to handle kicks. Most people don't want to sit down there and do that because they figure that takes too much time. I want it done now. You got the I want it done now mentality. It ain't gonna work. Mixing is not gonna work for you because it's a patience thing. Patience with anything. If you want to go to school for engineering, patience. If you want to go to school it takes time to get through anything that you want to do. So, like I was telling my niece, she's a producer, a songwriter, and I was telling her, like, don't try to really overthink the process. Learn like a little bit at a time, because mixing is not a one-shot deal. You learn one thing and now know how to mix. I said, don't really learn it as you go. Take your time with it. And then you pick up things as you go. It's like you being on a journey. And so like you are hungry. Guess what? You see an apple tree. You pick up the apple. You put some in your bag and you keep going. Next thing, you pick up something else as you go along. That's what it is when you're doing, especially the stuff that she's doing. Pick it up as you go along. And then as you go along, it will start to evolve and shape your production. And sometimes look at things for compression and then try it as you're watching it. You know what I'm saying? Just little 10 minutes here just to get that in the bag to where you can actually start to help do some of the stuff yourself. And then that way you lock in your sound and you tell them, look, I already did this. Hand it to the engineer, I already did this. I like the way it sounds. If you could just enhance it a little bit. That way you are learning the lingo to be able to talk to an engineer, and engineers appreciate that. They appreciate the hell out of this shit because of the fact is you could talk their language and y'all communicating and vibing on the same thing. One thing artists should know is you should know the lingo of an engineer. Artists should know the lingo of you. You should be able to articulate your feelings of how you want your sound to be. Don't be afraid to, if you are a artist and you write your songs, find an instrument, find a loop that inspires you to write, and then go to a producer and say, oh, I like this sound. I want it to have a little pop thing. If you can take this and just bring it to life, come with something. Because most of the artists used to either play, back in the days, play guitar, play something. That way the producer would build off of the sound that the person was bringing. But to come to the table with nothing and just an idea, how are we supposed to get the idea from your head to actual sound? Only person that can hear it is you. So try to come always with something to the table where a person can just basically sonically just take that to the next level, if you want to look at it like that. And it's actually, her production sound way better than the last one. So she's, the more things that I'm actually teaching her, even about sound selection choices. I was like, choose things that has modulation. When you do that, it actually helps you not have to really. You could use the basic settings of just mixing, which is carving out sounds space for the kick and the bass, and you will find out it will sound so much better sonically, because those instruments are not staying in the same space. They don't have the same time signature. The oscillators are moving different, so you won't have a lot of masking within your track. I said it took me a minute to actually get that when it came to production. One thing that I like the fact of, I know how to build a track up from the beginning, starting with just an idea. And being an engineer, I'm mixing as I do the production. So when the production comes, and I don't have to do so much when it comes to the overall sound and the person is recording. I'm doing it step by step. That's one thing I can say that I liked about SAE, is the fact that my teachers actually drilled that into us, had us do a production from scratch and then get a singer. We got to the point of, hiring a band and then put them in the room and then mic the drum set. And you had to go back and read that stuff before you actually did it, because you already read it in class, but you never read it in class. How you know how to mic a drum set? How do you know how to mic a snare? What if the snare has a ringing? How do you settle that? You have to know about these troubleshooting things before you get to this thing where you're micing this band. Because if you don't know how to go through these things, then you're trying to wing it, and you can't really wing it in the studio, because people don't like that. You trying to wing stuff, they be like, bro, what you doing? Like, now you getting people out of the mood, and that causes friction. You know what I'm saying? Especially if even if a person is, the band didn't have to pay us. We did this for free for a grade. So, but they liked the way we was efficient. We was like, oh, we already had it set up. So it's like, so what you want to do? I said, I have to mic I'll go in there and mic it. And it's like, so what you think we should set up? We had a diagram, the live room, the control room, what we was gonna have set up in the control room, what we was gonna have set up in the live room, and the other rooms where we had the cabinets. We had that set up. So we was like, okay, we're gonna place them here. We're gonna use this room, since this already has a line level, a line patch in there. We just gonna use that as a room. We're gonna use this microphone. We gonna this thing is, what does this thing keep doing? Let's see if this, I don't know why it's keep tapping out. This thing is tweaking. I'm gonna have to get another one. Okay, there it go again. Yeah, all right, go sit down. Go sit down somewhere. You need a timeout. Go ahead, sit down, timeout. All right, he's in his timeout. And so that's the thing that I had to learn in school, but it taught me like to think, to troubleshoot, and be able to solve problems while you're actually in the moment, like being able to think on your feet really fast. And the recording of songs came out really good. We recorded both songs in the same session, and basically just so we can keep the session flowing. Because imagine you trying to, we recording a session, I'm gonna close this out and I'm opening it back up. Now you just messed up completely, because now your whole routing thing, now you got to go back and route everything back to where you had it. And you don't want to do that. even if you had to record 4 songs within a session and you got a band in there, guess what? Use that same template. You just tap over and hit the record button. Because as soon as you would have tried to say, I need to shut down, I need to open it back up, oh, you done lost them altogether. And because there's so much that goes into that routing, that setup, you do not want to mess with that. So that's something that I had learned in school, especially even if I was working on like a production for an artist and it was 4 songs, guess what? These 4 songs would have been straight in the same template. I would have each of the tracks in her own little group folder, and she would have recorded that song. Okay, we okay, this sounds good. All right, let's go. Let's go over and try to record some more. And then after that's done, I would have tabbed over to the next song. And then recorded that again. So it's not a quick. What I'm saying is like all this is not a quick fix. It was more you learn as far as like what you're trying to do. Be proficient in it. Be professional. Learn about this. It'll help you in the long run. And believe me, your engineer would appreciate the heck out of you. An engineer loves a artist that knows his stuff. It's not just about being an artist. It's about being well-rounded. Do never be afraid to learn and evolve. Because learning and evolve will help you. It helps the engineer. It helps the whole situation. Because one thing that a manager or a record label love, well, I ain't going to say a record label, but a manager love is a well-rounded individual. Because you can't expect people to take care of you. You got to ensure your project yourself, even if you do have a manager. Just ensure the project yourself, knowing the avenue of everything and knowing how everything's supposed to function. It will help you as an artist. It will help you and everybody you come in contact with, because they are like, dude, know his, old girl know her stuff. Man, I like working with her, because they know that they can actually communicate and talk to you and vibe with you because you know your stuff. So yeah, so this is Echo Beats, and the name of the song is called Starlight. The name of the artist is iamEcho, and the other artist featuring is Brick. I think her name is this was, I believe, her sister that I recorded. I'm trying to remember what's her name. I got to make sure I find out her name to put her as a feature on here too. So I don't want to not have her name on here. And yeah, so if you are looking for mixing, mastering, or recording, Elevate Studios, that's the name of my studio. Let me see if I could put this in. I would add it to the, because I don't see a way to actually do that. Let's see. Comments, there it is. Comments, there it is. Engineers. All right, .com/Echo Beats. If you use the code, it's Symphony 20. It'll give you 20% off on all services. So that's on mixing, mastering, or recording. And it'll give you 20% off the whole thing. So let me see, put that in there, and I'm gonna ping that. So, and I'm also save this so you can have it as a referral if you need to. Like, subscribe, share. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks for everyone that tuned in. And then, like I said, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to shoot me a DM. I'll answer them. And also, I want to actually, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this too. I would like to hear your music, and if you want me to mix your song live, send it to, put an email looking for one person to mix, and then I'll try to do it again in the next month too, and mix a person's song free on live. Let's see. Send it to echo.support at iCloud.com. So just looking for, just send one song that you think that is ready. And all I ask you to do, let it mix it live. And I'm gonna ping this one too. And I'll just have you on here, telling the people about your song, the idea behind this song, the inspiration behind the song, and we will mix your song live. This is Echo Beats. Yeah, as soon as y'all send it, I listen to the demo. I'll give my comments, and I'm gonna try to see by the audience which song should I mix live, and play the songs of the people that sent it, and we will sit there and listen to it, and I'm gonna do a rate from 1 to 10, and basically get y'all opinion which song should I mix live, and then again I'll do it next month, and then keep doing it every month, one song, and see which song that get mixed live. So appreciate y'all tuning in. This is Echo Beats. I am a engineer, producer, and from Chicago, South Side, and just love mixing. So I'm just here to vibe with the people and to give y'all input and feedback if y'all listen to it. And just take care and have a blessed one. Shalom. See, how do I end? Yep.